Morning. Good morning. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. This is Bookeemonsters. My name is PK. It is Tuesday, January 9th. And on Tuesdays, we look at new releases of mystery. Every day of the week, we look at the new releases that are set into the wild each week. And each day, we look at a different genre. Yesterday, we looked at cozy mysteries. Today, we're going to look at mystery mysteries. And let's check in super quick. Hi, Mary. Good morning, and everyone. Happy Tuesday. Rain and wind today here in Virginia. Wind not so good. Rain good. Flood watch. But I should be fine. No worries. If it were colder, it would be the white stuff. Alas, you want white stuff? Ugh, I don't like white stuff. Not driving in it. But stay safe and warm. We are having winter this week, which is it's going to get worse before it gets better. If you look towards Thursday, Friday, Saturday, a high of -8, Sunday, a high of -4, and then we're back in the 20s. So lots of layers later this week, and we enjoy what it is today. All righty. Shall we hop in? Let me get rid of the banner here. Quick announcements. We do have sprints tonight at 6:05 Mountain Time, 8:05 Eastern, or as best as I can get here now that the roads are not as easy to drive and drivers out there who forgot how to drive in it. All right, let's log in here. There we go. And let's see what they are saying in mysteries. California Bear by Dwayne Szerzinski. Big name, a known name. In mystery, none of you are safe. Killer. Jack Queen has been exonerated and freed from prison thanks to retired LAPD officer Cato Hightower. But when guilt gnaws at Jack, he admits, I actually did it. To which Hightower responds, yeah, no kidding. You see, the ex-cop has a special job in mind for the ex-con. The girl detective, 15-year-old Matilda Finnerty, has been handed a potential death sentence in the form of a leukemia diagnosis. But that's not going to stop her from tackling the most important mystery of her life. Is her father guilty of murder? Jeannie Hightower mends family ties for a living, but the genealogist is unable to repair her own marriage, and her soon-to-be ex may have entangled her in a scheme that has drawn the bloody wrath of the Bear, a prolific serial killer who disappeared 40 years ago, who is only now emerging from hibernation when the conditions are just right. And this time, the California Bear is not content to hunt in the shadows. Dot, 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 dot. Cold Victory. Something is telling me to look at this on. Nope, we're good. This is by Carl Marlantis. Mystery/thriller. Helsinki, 1947. Finland teeters between the Soviet Union and the West. Everyone is being watched. A wrong look or a wrong word could end in a catastrophe. Natalia Bobrova from Russia and Louise Koski from the United States are young wives of their country's military attachés. When they meet at an embassy party, their husbands, Arnie and Mikhail, both world-class skiers, drunkenly challenge each other to a friendly but secret cross-country wilderness race. Louise is delighted, but Natalia is worried. Stalin and Beria's Secret police rule with unforgiving brutality. If news of the race gets out and Mikhail loses, Natalia knows it would mean his death, her imprisonment, and the loss of her two children. Meanwhile, Louise, who is childless, uses the race as an opportunity to raise money for a local orphanage, naive to the danger it will bring to Natalia and her family. Too late to stop Louise's scheme, a horrified Natalia watches as news of the race spreads across the globe, as newspapers and politicians spin it as a symbolic battle, freedom versus communism. Desperate to undo her mistake, Louise must reach Arnie to tell him to throw the race and save Mikhail. But how? The two races are in a world of their own, unreachable in Finland's Arctic wilderness. That does sound like a thriller. Not much crime-ish at this point. Death Under a Little Sky by Stig Abel. A detective ready for a new life. For years, Jake Jackson has been a high flying detective in London, but then one day he receives a letter from his reclusive uncle. He has left Jake his property in the middle of the countryside. For Jake, it is the perfect opportunity for a fresh start. A rural idyll, the stuff of dreams. At first, life in the middle of nowhere is everything Jake could wish for. His new home is beautiful, his surroundings are stunning, and he enjoys getting back to nature. A death then disrupts everything. But then what starts as a fun village treasure hunt turns deadly when a young woman's bones are discovered, and Jake is thrust once again into the role of detective as he tries to unearth a dangerous killer in this most unlikely of settings. All it says is countryside, doesn't say like what countryside, but that is Death Under a Little Sky. Invisible Woman by Katya Leaf. Hang on. A dangerous secret held too long between estranged best friends rises to the surface, and a long marriage comes apart with devastating consequences. Joni Ackerman's decision to raise children 25 years ago came with a steep cost. She was then a pioneering filmmaker, one of the few women to break into the all-male Hollywood club of feature film directors. But she and her husband Paul had always wanted a family, and his ascending career as a premier television network provided a safety net. Now they've recently transplanted to Brooklyn so that Paul can launch a major East Coast production studio when a scandal rocks the film industry and forces Joni to revisit a secret from long ago involving her friend Val. Joni is adamant that the time has come to tell the story, but Val and Paul are reluctant for different reasons. As the marriage frays and the friends spar about whether to speak up, Joni struggles with isolation in a new city, and old resentments about the sacrifices she's made on her family's behalf start to boil over. She takes solace of sorts in the novels of Patricia Highsmith, particularly the masterpiece Strangers on a Train, with its duplicitous characters and their murderous impulses crisscross until the lines between reality and fantasy become blurred. Okay. And a nice Barbie pink color cover. North Woods by Amy Pease. An interesting plot in Cold Victory. Yeah. Making cross-country skiing exciting. Good morning, Deborah. Hi, Deborah. Glad to see you. Absolutely. We're looking at mysteries. Hang on, coffee. North Woods by Amy Pease. Endorsed by William Kent Kruger. The dark underbelly of an idyllic Midwestern resort town is revealed in the aftermath of a murder with ties to America's opioid epidemic in this unputdownable blah, 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 blah. Eli North is not okay. His drinking is getting worse by the day. His emotional wounds after deployment to Afghanistan are as raw as ever. His marriage and career are over, and the only job he can hold down is with the local sheriff's department. And that's only because the sheriff is his mother, and she's overwhelmed with small town shaky lakes, dwindling budget, and the fallout from the opioid epidemic. The North Woods of Wisconsin may be a vacationer's paradise, but amidst the fishing trips and campfires and Paul Bunyan festivals, something sinister is taking shape. When the body of a teenage boy is found in the lake, it sets in motion an investigation that leads Eli to a wealthy enclave with a violent past, a pharmaceutical salesman, and a missing teenage girl. Soon, Eli and his mother, along with a young FBI agent, are on the hunt for more than just a killer. If Eli solves the case, could he finally get the shot at redemption he so desperately needs? Or will answers to this dark case elude him and continue to bring destruction to the North Woods? Which is the title, North Woods. One of the good guys bear Araminta Hall. Our next door neighbor's girlfriend's name is Araminta. She goes by Mindy. If most men claim to be good, why are most women still afraid to walk home alone at night? Because there are bad people. Newly separated from his wife and desperate to escape the ghosts of his failed marriage, Cole leaves London for a fresh start in the countryside. He accepts a job as a wildlife ranger and settles into his cozy seaside cottage, relishing the respite from the noise, drama, and relentless careerism that curdled his relationship along with his mental health. Then he meets Leonora, the reclusive artist living next door, and is instantly charmed by her warm and gentle spirit. But as the two forge a connection on the cliff's edge, they call home two young women activists raising awareness about gendered violence disappear while passing through. Cole and Leonora find themselves in the middle of a police investigation and resulting media firestorm as the world learns of what happened. And as the tension escalates, they quickly realize that they don't know each other that well after all. We looked at the expectant detectives yesterday. The heiress. Let's double check this one because I don't think this one is this week. It is this week. All right, I was wrong. It's okay to be wrong. By Rachel Hawkins. I just read one of hers recently. Mystery/thriller. There's nothing as good as the rich gone bad. When Ruby McTavish Callahan Woodward Miller Kenmore dies, she's not only North Carolina's richest woman, she's also its most notorious. The victim of a famous kidnapping as a child and a widow 4 times over, Ruby ruled the tiny town of Tavistock from Ashby House, her family's estate high in the Blue Ridge Mountains. But in the aftermath of her death, her adopted son Camden wants little to do with the house or the money, and even less to do with the surviving McTavishes. Instead, he rejects his inheritance, settling into normal life as an English teacher in Colorado and marrying Jules, a woman just as eager to escape her own messy past. 10 years later, his uncle's death pulls Cam and Jules back into the family fold at Ashby House. Its views are just as stunning as ever, its rooms just as elegant, but the legacy of Ruby is inescapable. And as Ashby House tightens its grip on Jules and Camden, questions about the infamous heiress come to light. Was there any truth to the persistent rumors following her disappearance as a girl? What really happened to those 4 husbands who all died under mysterious circumstances? And why did she adopt Cam in the first place? Soon, Jules and Cam realize that an inheritance can entail far more than what's written in a will, and that the bonds of family stretch far beyond the grave. And that is the heiress. And that is it for this page. Are you in the mood for thrillers? These were mostly thrillers. Mysteries are my favorite. Yeah, me too. Yeah. She's betting on him. Yes. Usually like Rachel. I just read hers recently. Was that Daisy Darker? I can't remember now. All right. I think we did look at the Ascent. Let's see if these are being released this week or not. Nope, that was November. That was November. Hello. Yeah, November, January. Get them confused. This was last week. Did we look at that one already? Yes, we did. That was that Antarctica one. Severn House, Good Publishing House. This was last week. Oh yeah, that was that pizza one. All right, that was a bust. Let's go over here. No, we don't look at horror. Horror. That one's a thriller, it says. Yep. Did we look at this one already? I don't think so. Blue Ridge by Peter Malone Elliott. Sorry about that. I was trying to say Ellicott. Elliott. What would you do if you were planning to kill your brother, but someone beat you to it? I guess be grateful. After former Olympic contender turned burnout horse trainer Killian Clark is framed for the murder of his identical twin Christopher, a rising star Virginia police politician, Killian is forced to go on the lam. Well, what if somebody was actually trying to kill you if you're identical twins? But when someone from Christopher's past emerges and offers Killian the chance to clear his name, Killian is plunged headfirst into a sinister conspiracy that not only threatens the sanctity of democracy, but also promises to expose the devastating secret intertwining the brothers forever. The truth behind the death of a woman they both loved. Dot, dot, dot. That sounds very melodramatic. Bullseye. Let's look at the date before we go there. Yep, we're good. This is by Shannon Baker, 8th in the Kate Fox series. Was his death a tragic accident or a murder in cold blood? Caught between juggling her dysfunctional family and a looming recall election, Sheriff Kate Fox feels like she's on a bucking bronco with one hand stuck in the air. When a top bull breeder is mauled to death at a rodeo, Kate quickly realizes that this so-called accident hides a much darker truth. Dropped from the case to protect her upcoming election bid, Kate is forced to cowboy off on, oh, come on, please. Stop. On her own when she fears the victim's wife is being targeted unfairly. After her snooping reveals a list of shady suspects, each with their own reason to want the victim dead, Kate finds herself caught up in a deadly web of lies and fraud at the heart of the competitive world of rodeo. But when her investigation takes a terrifying turn, Kate starts to question everything. How deep does the corruption go, and who will be left standing when the dust finally settles? I think that is a very trendy topic right now. Um, if you read romance, the Elsie Silver, at least the first book, is set in the rodeo bull riding world, which has pulled people's attention to it. We did that one. It's a romance. First Lie wins. But living in Montana, cowboy stuff doesn't really trip my trigger. This came out last week. Ooh, legal thriller. Yay, we like legal stuff. But is it for really being released? Says so. All right, well, look. That cover really shows the Blue Ridge. It does look like just like that. Oh, awesome. Do I ever go to rodeos? Steve and I used to. We are a sponsor for the Nile Rodeo, one of their events. What is that? National International Livestock Exposition, something like that. And we would get tickets, and Steve's dad was very involved in it and had more tickets. So we would have to go every once in a while. We had very good seats and everything, and it's enjoyable. I root for, like, when they do the calf roping and stuff. I root for the calf. I prefer watching the bull riding. That's very exciting. Some of the funnest things at a rodeo is when they have the little kids riding on the sheep. Oh my gosh, that's funny. Um, but we don't anymore, and if we do get tickets, we give them to our employees. It just anymore, we just want to go home and stay home. Have you been to one? Let's see. This is Goodbye Girl by James Grippandel. Very big name in legal thrillers. A contentious intellectual piracy case leads to an unsolved murder, and Jack Switek's client, a pop music icon, is the accused killer. Got my attention so far. Piracy costs the movie and music industry billions. No one has been able to stop it. But that won't stop Miami criminal defense lawyer Jack Switek. His latest client, Amani Nichols, is a Grammy-winning pop star whose career has skyrocketed. Despite her success, she's the most underpaid superstar on the planet because of an onerous record contract she signed as a teenager with her now ex-husband, Shaky. Well, his name is Shaky. Come on. Nichols, who has made himself rich off her royalties. Preferring to see thieves profit from her music than let her ex-husband pocket one more dime, Amani takes to social media and tells her millions of fans to go pirate and download her music illegally. Her hardball tactic leads to scorched earth litigation, and now she needs Jack's help. The case takes a deadly turn when salacious allegations of infidelity send Amani and Shaky down a path of mutual assured destruction, each implicating the other in the unsolved murder of Amani's extramarital lover 12 years ago. Tyler McCormick died of asphyxiation, and his body was found in Biscayne Bay, chained to a piling with the words "Goodbye Girl" impressed on his chest. Despite their bread did it. Despite their fierce denials, Imani and Shaky are both indicted for murder, leading to a sensational trial that exposes shocking secrets about their failed marriage, their cutthroat business partnership, and Imani's astonishing success. Yet, as Jack discovers, uncovering the truth about the killing and the cryptic Goodbye Girl won't just exonerate or convict his client, her ex, and their music empire. It may shape the future of the entire recording industry. How interesting. And he does it in under 350 pages. I sometimes get in the mood for legal stuff like that. No, she's never been to a real one. Did watch a roundup on a ranch in California. Fascinating. They were collecting mountain oysters. Absolutely, that's a big, big thing here. The Rocky Mountain oysters. There's a festival about that in a town not far from me. Never been, never eaten them, never want to. I suppose if I were starving, I would. It's just, people eat every part of an animal, the breads or whatever they call them, and I don't have an interest for that. But I suppose if I were really hungry and some super duper good chef did it so I would never even know, then I'd probably eat it. Never eaten them, never will. Don't plan to for sure. Yeah. I'm not an adventurous eater. No. Well, we ran out of time. Well, at least we got a good chunk of knowing what's being released this week. Maybe there's something that sparked your interest to investigate further. Sometimes, even if it's like, oh, we got a commercial. Even if it is sometimes like the eighth book in a series, maybe it was interesting enough for you to go check out the first in the series, and then you have 8 books to read. Win-win. So thank you guys very much for being here today. If you are watching it live or if you're watching it later, either way, I appreciate it. Tonight we do have sprints at 6:05 Mountain Time, 8:05 Eastern. It'll go for 2.5 hours. Bring your own book, work on a project, close your eyes after a day, whatever it is that makes you be in your happy space, because that's time carved out for you. Thanks, PK. Hope to see you and Deborah at Randy's later. See you tonight too, I hope. I hope so too. Everybody be safe and happy and warm, and read good books. And if you're not reading a good book, it's okay to set it aside. It can be a temporary set aside. Don't waste time. There's lots of books out there, and you can pick it up later if you want to. Sometimes it's it's like wine. It's just not the right time yet. And as the banner says here, don't be a bookworm, be a bookie monster. Nom nom. You have a good day. God bless.